She is Senior Director of External Affairs at KDP, and she's President-elect of our club. Julie?
Really inspiring. Thank you. We are so glad to have U of L folks here with us, and we didn't get a chance to introduce them when we were doing the guests. So I do want to make sure that we give a warm welcome to John Dries from U of L, David MacArthur, and Diane Partridge with U of L Health. So welcome to all of you. Now, I'm truly honored to have the opportunity to introduce Tom Miller, the CEO of University of Global Health. A little bit of background. He holds a bachelor's degree from Auburn University and a master's degree in hospital and health administration from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Mr. Miller has more than 30 years of experience in hospital operations and executive management. Throughout his distinguished career, he has led several large health organizations, including serving as president of Community Health Systems headquartered in Franklin, Tennessee, CEO of Lutheran Health Network in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and various positions with Hospital Corporation of America headquartered in Nashville. Prior to coming here to Louisville, he served as president and CEO of Forum Health, headquartered in Nashville, overseeing a $2.1 billion publicly traded healthcare company with 38 owned hospitals and 95 managed hospitals, along with providing consulting to others. While at Forum, he was responsible for all operations, including strategic development, investor relations, and capital investment. In January 2019, he began as CEO of U of L Health, and at that time, it included the University of Louisville Hospital, U of L James Graham Brown Center, and over 110 specialized clinics and operations. And in the fall, as all you all know, November 2019, University of Louisville Health expanded through its acquisition of Kentucky One Health Louisville area assets that include Jewish Hospital, Fraser Rehabilitation Institute, St. Mary's and Elizabeth Hospital, and Our Lady of Peace, Jewish Hospital Shelbyville, Jewish Medical Centers East, Northeast, South, and Southwest, and physicians groups affiliated with Kentucky One. We are so looking forward to Mr. Miller sharing his vision and plan for the University of Louisville Health Services that are vital to our region, to our people, and to our Commonwealth. Please give a hearty welcome to Mr. Miller.
It is an honor to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm not sure that I hope the words that I say would be similar to Martin Luther King's and cause you to think of beneficial to all concerned. What a great thought process to have. Again, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Tom Miller. For those who know Wayne Smith as the CEO and president of Community Health System, I am not the president. I was the division president of Wayne. So if you ever talk to Wayne, don't let them know that I was introduced as his boss. That wouldn't go over very well. I do want to just have an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about healthcare and about what's going on within the university and University Medical Center. Before I do that, I will explain that I'm very passionate about healthcare. And we had the opportunity to buy these hospitals from the Catholic Health Initiatives and the order associated with that. And had an opportunity to talk to one of the nuns responsible for that order. And we talked about her vision in healthcare and where she goes, where the order goes, to relax and get back to God. And they would talk about going to the Smoky Mountains, a place called Cades Cove. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Cades Cove. It's about a 12-mile circle. And they would go there and just try to get back and refresh themselves. And she was talking about one of the times that one of the nuns got out into the field and was going to pray for the health of everyone and came across a black bear. Now, the black bear saw her and started charging. She stood still and put her hands together. And the black bear kept charging. And she says, please, 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 let this be a Catholic bear. The bear kept charging, and miraculously, as she was praying, the bear stopped 3 feet in front of her. It got down on its knees and said, bless this food for which we eat. And the moral of that story is be careful what you ask, because you ask for a hospital CEO to talk about healthcare. And I will try to do that within a short period of time, to keep us, so there's a chance to have some questions. But I do want to talk about our mission, and our mission as an organization and as a health organization. And it is very straightforward: improving the health of the communities we serve. And we believe in that every day of what we do. And Dr. Kelly McMaster, you may recognize him. He's our chief of surgery, does that every single day. And I'm going to talk a little bit about keeping Jewish Hospital alive. So I'm going to talk about the background associated with this and get some feeling. Kentucky One Health hospitals were for sale for 2.5 years. So when you think of November of 19, go back 2.5 years, and that's when they made a decision to do that. During that 2.5 year period of time, if you can imagine, they didn't make much investment in the hospital. They invested about $1.5 million a year over those 2.5 years. From a business standpoint, you should know that the CapEx for healthcare is about 4% of net revenues. They're about $600 million, and so normally it's about $20 million. So these hospitals during that 2.5 years were underinvested. From a university standpoint, the people, the doctors that worked there, 40% of them were university faculty who were using the resources at Kentucky One Health to provide care to the community. The system itself was losing $40 million, and it had been losing $40 million for several years. The university housed 68 residents at the hospital, and the university was getting support for the School of Medicine as we were providing education associated with it. And a key part of Kentucky One Health, the R1 status for the university is a status that recognizes the amount of research that goes on. The university does about $150 million in research a year. 2/3 of that was healthcare, and 1/3 of the 2/3 was at Jewish Hospital. And so it was vital for us to maintain our R1 research status. I think there are about 120 universities in the country that have that status. And the last thing was our transplant program that the physicians had was actually housed at Jewish Hospital and was at risk for staying open. In 2017, University Hospital made a decision to separate from CHI. There was a relationship that existed in 2016. After about a year, we broke apart. So we had done this once and felt like we had an idea of what was going on with the hospital and thought that we might be able to make a difference. However, during this 2.5 year period of time, the board of the university had made a decision not to get engaged in the process and just to work with whoever was going to be the next owner in the way that we would work with CHI and trying to make sure. 2 years later, no sale occurs. There was a discussion about a REIT taking over the hospital. They were not hospital operators. They would just take over the facilities and take the money for them and take it to Denver. And then there began rumors about the hospital closing. And at that time, 2 years later, or about a year ago, University Hospital was absolutely full. And when I say that, we have 330 staff beds. We were running a census of about 340, so we had patients every night who were not able to have a bed in the hospital and were staying in stretchers at the ER. Our operating rooms were operating about 90% of the time. Our elective cases, we moved from 7 in the morning till 8 at night and on weekends just to be able to do the cases. So we had no ability to do any work. And so we're looking at what's going on and saying, where are we going to provide, how are we going to provide care to patients? On December 31st, the university board made a decision to enter into a letter of intent to move forward with the acquisition of the Kentucky One hospitals. I would say it's one of the oldest decisions I've seen the university do, because at that time, there were all kinds of issues still going on with the university, and so making a decision to go forward was difficult. One of the things that was required by the university board was that we find a partner. And so what I mean by partner is we were looking for somebody with enough resources so that we could, when we took over this organization, we could have the time to be able to make the changes. We needed a financial partner, and we were looking for somebody that could provide up to about $100 million for us. And we went through an RFP process that the state requires, and during that process, we didn't find anybody that met our needs, and we tried all local organizations, we tried regional, and we tried national organizations. And at the end of the day, although we did have some requests, we didn't have anybody that we felt had the resources and the skill set to be successful that would keep the mission of the university and the academic and research objectives going forward in mind. So we made that decision to go forward. We started that process doing due diligence. And in June, we came to a point with CHI where they required us to close on June 14th. We weren't at a point ready to do that. They had made some commitments that the hospitals would stay open, and we felt comfortable that we could still work and have a place to do our work. The transplant program would stay alive, and our doctors would be able to do surgery. That all changed August 1st. At that point in time, we learned that their intention was to announce September 1st to close Jewish Hospital, and had announced a few days earlier to close one of the transplant programs. In addition to that, we also learned that St. Mary's and St. Elizabeth Hospital might also close. We began to panic, as you would think during something that you're surprised about. And in August, the U of L Health Board made a decision to go forward and sign a document to acquire the hospitals. And our concerns were straightforward. Accreditation risk of the School of Medicine, we had 68 residents there, and they would have no patients, not enough patients to be able to have a teaching experience. And so that was real for us. We would have a budget shortfall at the university for $51 million because there was money that was being provided by Jewish Hospital to cover medical directorships, the residency programs associated with these doctors, and that was a significant hole. If Jewish closed, building, because the land that the building's on is owned by the university, would actually have reverted back to us, and we would have had a huge building sitting there empty. The R1 status, we believe, was at risk associated with the work that was going on. And then we were concerned about access to care. So I want to give you the magnitude of the access to care. We take care of 330 inpatients on average a day. January 14th, combined, we had 900 inpatients in our hospitals. And so we're at 330. They were at 540 in regard to the inpatients they're taking care of. We see about 65,000 ER visits a year at the University Medical Center. Combined now today, we take care of 225,000 ER patients a year. If you can imagine where the ER visits, 35,000 ER visits at Jewish, 40,000 ER visits at St. Mary's, where are they going to go to? Where are these patients at risk going to go to? We couldn't find, we had no space, and most of the hospitals were generally full and were trying to expand to meet the needs, but it would take years to do that. So very concerned about that. We were concerned about our transplant program. We think it is a vital component of what we do in the community. We needed to meet our growth needs at University Hospital. We would have had to spend, we had a plan to look at it, spending $80 million in an expansion of the University Hospital to add some more beds. This allowed us not to do that, and we can use the resources that are there. Our spinal cord research program was one of the most renowned programs in the world. Dr. Susie Parkman would have been at risk. And the ripple effect of closing Jewish Hospital throughout the community in Louisville, Jefferson County, and Commonwealth would have been amazing. Jewish Hospital has about $100 million in payroll. And if you just can imagine those individuals, I'm not sure that all of them would have had lost jobs, but many of them would have. And they would have taken time to get those. So when the university made their decision to move forward, there had been a communication with the state to try to find a partner. And we identified that we were willing to go forward, but we needed help. And the state at that point in time agreed to an economic development that if certain conditions are met, and it had to do with jobs in Kentucky being maintained, and also providing services out into the rural communities and to those that are at need, that they would try to help us if we agreed to maintain these jobs, as long as there was community support to a matching program. And the Jewish Heritage Foundation and the Jewish Fund for Excellence, to the Jewish Heritage Foundation and St. Mary's and St. Elizabeth Foundation agreed to step up and put $50 million also forward. And so between the two, we were able to find our $100 million to give us the time to go forward in doing that. And that was critical for us. We believe we saved 1,900 jobs in this community out of the 55 that were total employees of Kentucky One. And we doubled our size. And I just want to take a second to talk about the state as a partner. because there are those who are concerned, well, why we're doing that. The initial request was $50 million for economic development, through the economic development funds. And the bill is in the General Assembly today. This past week, it did pass the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, and will be going through its third reading, and we're hopeful that it will pass the House this week and go to the Senate. It is a 5-year interest-free note, 20 years that we to pay it back. 50% would be forgiven if certain situations occur. And it is focused on meeting the needs of the underserved, help those in the rural areas to maintain Kentucky jobs. And why we needed this is straightforward. You've got to understand healthcare for a second. First of all, you have a hospital, University Hospital, State Hospital, going over and taking over another organization that's losing between $40 and $50 million. And there's no way to turn that around tomorrow. There's no way to build back the confidence of Jewish Hospital in this community to where it was 10, 15 years ago. It just takes time associated with that. There also was the lack of funding for capital that we just didn't have the resources to be able to do. And we're going to put $35 million in the Kentucky One facilities this year. When I say this year, between November 1st and the end of our fiscal year, which is end of June. And there's also something unique in healthcare. It takes, when you have a change of ownership, you have to re-credential every doctor, every site. You have to get approval from every insurance company, every state organization, so Medicare and Medicaid. And so there is a lag period between when we can bill and we can collect. And it's an artificial issue within healthcare. So when we acquired the facility on November 1st, although we were still providing care for patients on that day, we knew that there would be a lag based on credentialing and based on insurance coverage approvals and the federal government change of ownership process that would generally take between 90 and 180 days to get approval. So that meant we can't bill the patients. And if you think of this organization as about a $600 million organization, that's $50 million a month in revenues that we bill the patients for, that if we billed them, they would be denied, and we would have to go through the process again until every single insurer got credentialed. And so we knew that it would take us at least between 90 and 180 days to get through that process. And so that was going to be about $150 million in cost that we didn't have the ability to, our staff wanted to get paid, our suppliers wanted to get paid during this process, but we couldn't bill. And so that's why we needed the help, because we just didn't have the type of resources associated with it. And we're fortunate that the Jewish Heritage Foundation and the Mary Elizabeth Foundation helped provide that match locally to do the state funds. Now, as we go forward, in talking to the leader of the House and the President Pro Tem of the Senate and the Governor's Office, they asked us to make sure that we're being respectful of the fact that we're using state money in order to do this. And so 2 weeks ago, we came back and said some things that happened faster. We had gotten our bills out, almost all of them out. It will be 100% done by the end of this month, but we're holding still about $120 million of bills, but we'll have them all out by the end of the month. So we're going to be able to collect some money faster than we thought we would. There has also been a recognition that as we look at Jewish Hospital, we'll be managing Jewish Hospital and University Hospital as one. And so with the 68 residents, there's additional reimbursement that we get as a result of being a teaching hospital. So some additional money came in associated with that. And so we lowered our request to the state for that money, and we think we can make that work. As we try to establish a plan to be successful with the turnaround, again, our goal is to operate University and Jewish Hospital as one hospital. We're going to enhance the services and strategy at Kentucky One Health for St. Mary's and Elizabeth and Shelbyville Hospital was a hub and spoke model. Bring them in, transfer them to Jewish as fast as you can. I believe that's a wrong strategy, so we're going to be enhancing the services at St. Mary's and Elizabeth and Jewish and Shelbyville Hospital so that they can take care of their people locally versus having to transfer them out. That's a wrong mistake. And we're shifting. The strategy with our organization is shifting. University Hospital, I came here. I defined it in a certain way that our marketing team doesn't always like. But we were inner city hospital, inner city teaching hospital, with a trauma center and a cancer center. No opportunity to treat those in the suburbs or outside. Everybody had to come downtown. And I will tell you, sometimes East Louisville coming downtown is like crossing the Atlantic Ocean. And so we have to reach out into the community. We had no outpatient focus, and healthcare is moving to an outpatient focus. And so we are transitioning to a downtown system, to a system that's reaching out now to provide care on an outpatient basis. We had to find synergies in order to make this work long term, and we found about $90 million worth of synergies. Some of that's on the supply and savings when you bring an organization with 150 million supplies with another organization with 150 million supplies. We think we can save about 4% more than what we were doing. Our billing and collection services were generally outsourced, and we're bringing them back to the city. I mentioned we've got some reimbursement as a teaching hospital. Corporate overhead. One of the things about being part of a corporation that we're not on is there's a corporate overhead allocation. It's 5.6% allocation of that facility to the corporate office. Normal hospitals are about 2%, and we're going to be 0%. And so we're going to save a significant amount of money associated with that. We knew that there were issues with staffing at Jewish Hospital. They use a lot of contract nurses, and if you are out there, you know about contract labor. It's not what you want. They never bought into the organization. So we're in the process of recruiting 290 nurses. Streamline the management team. I serve as the CEO of University Hospital. I serve as the CEO for Jewish Hospital, Mary Elizabeth Hospital, and Peace. And I need to go to Peace for doing that. But it's just a belief that we're going to try to limit the amount of overhead we have in order to reduce our costs. And then we're focused on improving quality. And I know that you read in the paper, and it was accurate, although not the full story. Jewish Hospital got an F from HealthRates. What happened during that time frame? HealthRates is a voluntary organization that you provide the information, and they run the grade for you. Because they were going through an acquisition, they didn't submit the data. And so we got stuck with whatever was there, and there were gaps everywhere associated with it. And so I will tell you, Jewish Hospital is not an F hospital. It's not an A hospital. It's got a lot of opportunities to improve, and we're going to make a difference associated with it. And I will tell you, it's all about nursing. It's all about the nursing care. We've got great doctors, but I do believe that what comes first, good nurses bring great doctors. Great doctors don't go to places without good nursing, and we're going to make a difference associated with that. So we closed on a $700 million acquisition in 3 months. Now, if any of you have ever done acquisitions like that, I challenge you to say you did a $700 million acquisition in 3 months. Trying to get every Medicare, Medicaid, state, regulatory body approval is just an incredible process, one that I don't even want to go through. I had no gray hairs before we started this process. We re-credentialed over 400 providers, and every single site had to be re-credentialed with every single insurer. So that was 247 sites with all payers. We had to reapply for all licenses from every regulatory body that existed, those that I didn't even know existed. We brought on 5,500 team members on our payroll with benefits. We convinced 280 doctors who could have gone anywhere, and some of them did during this process of uncertainty, to stay with us and be a part of our system and help make a difference. We worked with every contract that CHI had. Somebody had to read it and say we want to keep it or don't want to keep it. And then we had to find a solution for IT, which is a major issue going forward for us. Today, again, we're focusing on quality. Today, we've got 12,000 team members with $1.3 billion of revenues. When I say that, that's the University Medical Center side. The university also has 12,000 team members. We're about 25,000 together. Almost 1,000 providers with academic appointment to the University School of Medicine. We're focusing on every quality metric. And I will tell you, although we're not a hospital or a B hospital today on the quality reporting, we will be there within a year or so. We took care of again on this month 900 patients, and we do 225,000 ER visits in our facilities. We're investing $35 million in CHI facilities this year. A lot of that is IT. Seems like I don't know if any IT people, they want way too much money. And we're establishing a new IT structure across the community with one goal, is to make sure that you have access to your information, and that is secure. We've made a new commitment to the transplant program. We're currently recruiting 98 physicians to our hospitals. And then we're establishing an outpatient strategy with centers of excellence associated with that. And again, our goal is to bring the academic difference to you. Going forward, we saved 1,900 Of the 5,500 jobs, approximately 100 million in payroll. Access to care, I believe, is protected in this community. And had Jewish closed down and Maryland's would close down, we would have had an access crisis in this community. We would have had an access crisis. The university's R1 status is now secured. We have the space at the university to grow. I am committed, and our team is committed to bring back the shine and confidence in Jewish Hospital. The medical school has the opportunity to grow. We're bringing university research and medicine to the community. We are now the largest academic healthcare system in the state. And for you UK fans, we're close. But from them, just on discharges alone, we take care of more patients. Our key service lines that we're going to be focused on are cardiovascular, ortho, trauma, transplant, neurosciences, and cancer. That's what we hope to make a difference. And as an academic medical center, we're seeing some of the sickest patients in the community, and we're glad to be able to take care of those patients. And our goal is clearly to use research to improve care, and we've got tremendous research going on in our organization. I want to take, because I've got a couple minutes, I want to take some leeway here to talk about two other things, not about the acquisition, but one about healthcare in Louisville. You know, I have been the president of the Chamber of Commerce in many communities, Fort Wayne and outside of Washington, D.C., in the northern Virginia area. And I've always tried to convince the community that healthcare is an economic development engine. And we are. I believe we are. First of all, when you look at the strong systems that we have, one of them is investing another $600 million in the community. Another one is indicating they're going to spend $1 billion in the state in regard to focusing on healthcare. We're talking about adding jobs, retaining jobs and adding jobs, recruiting new doctors, trying to, again, find 290 new nurses. If you have your daughter or son that's a nurse, call me. And I do think that we do make a difference associated with that. And I would speculate that in this community, and this is speculation, this is not based on any fact that I know, about 70% of the physicians in this community are either graduated from or somehow affiliated with the University of Louisville School of Medicine. And I want to say that again. That's it. Throughout the community, not just our hospitals, that's throughout the community. About 70% of our graduates are affiliated with the University of Louisville School of Medicine. A tremendous thing to say in the community. And from a university standpoint, we're committed to academics. We provide education for 642 residents within the community, and just under 1,000 nursing students that we're trying to educate. And then I want to talk a little bit nationally, because you're here, you can't go there right now. First of all, I want to say something, and I'm going to be neutral in regard to politics, something that's unique in the world here. The Affordable Health Care Act is covering millions of people who did not have access to care, and it has been expanded in this state, and it is a good thing for the community. Whether we can afford it or not, we're all going to come to that conclusion, but I have a belief that the politicians believe that health care is a right, and they're helping cover these individuals that are at risk. And again, we're talking about millions of individuals, so no matter where you feel about it, it's doing good things for our community today. Growth of healthcare, and there's been a lot of questions on using the V word in healthcare. That V word is value. Very difficult word to use in healthcare, because healthcare is very expensive. The healthcare industry for the last 2 years has seen some of the lowest growth in healthcare costs in the history. I'm going to exclude retail pharmacy from that, because I really have no control over that, and I don't think that's the case in pharmacy. It's our highest expense category going on. But I do believe that we are trying as an industry to do everything we can to reduce our costs associated with that. I had a gentleman in one of the meetings similar to this said, you charged me more for my heart surgery than I made last year. And I turned it on him and said, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you alive? Are you healthy? Yes, and he was grateful for that. But he had this belief that we got paid $75,000 because that's what the bill said. He was a Medicare patient, and we actually got paid about $16,000. When we heard that, he was just shocked, because we're not allowed to show you what we actually get paid with that. But I do think from the University Medical Center standpoint, I think we recognize that we were charging too high. Last 3 years, we've got no rate increases, and we hope to do that again this coming year. and trying to make sure that we're trying to offer better value associated with it. The movement to outpatients is real. I don't know if any of you have had a hip or knee replacement. 2 years from now, that will all be in an outpatient setting. And so it's amazing, I think, the technology that we're using associated with it. Something like transparency is a word that is difficult to say in healthcare because it's hard to understand the bills. We will be focusing on how we can be more transparent to you as consumers associated with that. And there is a movement from what I call episodic care. And episodic care is you come to the ER to get care because you're sick, to a responsibility on the providers to keep you well. That is a change that needs to happen for us to really make a difference in healthcare. And that's one that's easy to say but more difficult to do. Your access to information is now readily available through portals, so that you ought to be able to have more control of your information associated with it. Artificial intelligence, a term that's very difficult to think about in healthcare, will change and standardize treatments, I believe, over the next decade. And so differences of care will go away. There will be programmatic artificial intelligence identifying what we should do based on your individual conditions. And I think we'll see more medicine so specialized to you based on your dynamics associated with that. There's a tremendous focus on chronic illnesses to reduce costs. And what I mean by that is, we would take care of a heart failure patient, discharge them, give them prescriptions and medicines, on their way. That no longer is an acceptable approach. We have to continue to try to reach out to them and provide care for months after they've left us to make sure that they're doing the things they need to do, because we can't have those patients be readmitted to our organization. And so we're focusing on trying to reach out more and to do more for these chronic ill patients. There is still a major problem in healthcare. There is no solution to end-of-life care. And we spend a significant percentage of our dollars trying to take care of those at end-of-life care. And I'm not sure if it's a social issue, it's a broader issue. I've told my daughters, before I die, if I need help in a nursing home or something, you better take care of me at home because you're not going to get my inheritance. It's a quid pro quo, to be honest with you. I can do that with my daughters. But I think as an industry and as a community, we haven't figured this out yet, and we've got to figure it out. And I do believe, although there are those who are critical of healthcare in the United States, we still provide the best of healthcare anywhere in the world. We have people from all over the world coming for healthcare into Louisville, and they come all over the United States. I'm not sure it's not more expensive, as it is, but I do believe at the end of the day we provide the best healthcare in the world. It is something that I am glad to be a part of. My goal is to make a difference in the health community, and it's all about the power of each of you helping us do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Very, very interesting, especially that information about trends, what we're looking at down the road. It's always fascinating. Tom has a very important board meeting immediately after this meeting, so we do have time for 1 or 2 questions. We want to allow for him to be able to vote at that meeting, right? Yes, John Gregory.
Tell us broadly how we can solve the problem of better outcomes, spending 50% more than our friends across the ocean are spending. We're spending about 18% of our gross national product. They're spending about 12, 50% less, a third less. How can that happen?
It's an interesting question. No one's really found the right answer to. I will tell you, the expectations of Americans are different than the expectations of the English population and the French population in regard to healthcare. I have somebody tomorrow saying, I can't wait to have my hip done this week. And you will wait in other countries associated with that. We probably go too far in the use of technology and trying to make sure it's the most available to you. So we're now talking about 3 Tesla MRIs. That doesn't, 1.5 Tesla doesn't provide a very good image, but it's not the state of the art. And I do believe some of the costs are associated with the malpractice and the concerns by doctors who do too much. Who do too much work sometimes on patients, sometimes they don't need it. I think the wellness component of it will help us do that, but I would tell you it's technology, it's the access to care and how fast people want it. And on the pharmaceutical industry, I'm not gonna dish too much of the pharmaceutical industry, but there should, I'm trying to go to Canada so I can buy my products there versus here, because it's so much cheaper. Doesn't make sense to me. But irrespective of that, I will tell you that I still believe we provide the best healthcare.
Walt, and then Cynthia.
Yes, Mr. Miller, thank you very much for appearing today. We are welcoming you to the city, and we're very delighted you're here. I will ask you a question, but first of all, in 1970, which is 50 years ago, I was the administrative assistant to the Jefferson Fiscal Court, and I was responsible for overseeing healthcare, that is construction, etc. We didn't dominate it, but the county government had an influence. And there was a time when the issue of a Southwest Jefferson County hospital could be built. And there was an uproar, no, no, no. And you're going to be facing this, you already are. But anyway, we were for it, of course, because the county is the
Question,
county.
please, Walt, I'm sorry, forgive me.
Are you just talking to me?
Yes, sir, question, please.
I'm getting it. David Jones, Wendell Cherry, being in that ilk and running the board actually, went along with it. And it was really a great emphasis toward moving into the suburbs, which you have identified as being a need here. When we did that, hospital costs, fixed costs for building was only $10 per bed per day. Yeah, a long, long time ago. But anyway, 50 years hasn't changed that much. But I'll ask you this. The city of Nashville and the mental health community in Nashville has been at conflict at times in the past with the city of Louisville. It's taken some of our executives, as a matter of fact. However, there seems to be more of a unity of purpose because of the breadth of the problem. Is that true?
You know, so Louisville did the reverse with me since I came from Nashville, and I brought about 6 or 7 team members with me associated with that, so some good people. I don't think we see a conflict between healthcare in Nashville and Louisville.
It was there.
And it is still there, and there's still competition, particularly for the higher end stuff with Vanderbilt and transplant, and what I would call quaternary care. But healthcare is local. It is all about meeting the local needs. Now, Jewish hospitals, 45% of their patients come from outside the county. But it's still local, and the ability to be able to have a great orthopedic surgeon here in Louisville, you don't have to go to Nashville. I don't think people are really traveling that far. We look at where they're coming in. That's why I would say healthcare is more an economic development. If we look at the outlying counties, and even from Indiana, 65% of the patients are local, 45% or 55 are local, 45% are outside the region coming in. We take care of transplant patients in every county in the state.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. We meet again next week. It's a full meeting. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Visitors, remember, if you want to learn more about what is Rotary, you can see Mr. Sloan. And with that, our meeting is adjourned.